James, a 19-year-old college student, and his 18-year-old sister, Emma, were making the hours-long journey from their college to their parents' house for a visit, with James behind the wheel of the car. They chatted and laughed, reminiscing about college life. The afternoon breeze tousled the leaves of the surrounding trees as they drove through a forest. By this point, they both really had to pee. With no rest stops in sight, Jake pulled the car to the side of the road. They hopped out of the car. But as they ventured into the woods, a putrid stench assailed their senses. Figuring it was probably just an animal carcass, they continued venturing deeper. But the odor intensified the further they went, to the point where they just decided to stop and go pee right where they were. The two siblings shared a smile as they relieved themselves, and then they zipped up and headed back to the car. But just as they reached the car, they heard a rustling noise from the bushes right behind them. They turned to look, but saw nothing. Unease tinged the air, but they dismissed it, attributing the sound to harmless woodland creatures. They got back in the car and started it up, but as the car merged back onto the road, James stole a glance in the rearview mirror. A man peeked around the edge of the bushes where they just heard the rustling noise. He alerted Emma, a fleeting unease lingering as they drove away. But the excitement of reuniting with their parents soon replaced any lingering discomfort. It was evening when James and Emma finally arrived at their parents' house. The siblings and their parents spent the evening sharing stories and laughter. At one point later in the evening, the siblings noticed a figure in the driveway, seemingly scrutinizing their vehicle's license plate. Silhouetted against the fading light, the stranger turned to look at them through the window. Unsettled but unable to discern his features, they watched as he disappeared into the darkening evening. Later, while James and Emma were upstairs, footsteps echoed downstairs. Assuming it was one of their parents, Emma decided to go down and ask them a question. After she had descended the stairs, both parents suddenly emerged from their bedroom, confusion etching James's face, as he had thought that at least one of them was downstairs. Simultaneously, a piercing scream erupted from downstairs. Panic seized them as they rushed down to find Emma struggling with a masked intruder, a glint of a knife reflecting in the dim light. Swiftly, the family united in a chaotic confrontation. James shielded Emma, the dad and mom joining forces to subdue the assailant. In the struggle, the intruder's mask was torn off, revealing a face James recognized, a face from the rearview mirror, the man in the woods. Shock rippled through him. The police were called, arriving swiftly to arrest the attacker. The next day, shock rippled through the siblings as they watched the news. A dead body had been discovered in the woods, in the same area where the two siblings had stopped to pee. The arrested man, who was a former police officer, had confessed to the murder, his face broadcast on the screen, and it was the same man they had encountered yesterday. This revelation left them horrified, realizing that their chance encounter in the woods had brought them face to face with a murderer. Albeit not a very smart murderer, but still.